to Leading Hope Podcast. My name is VJ Williams, here with my friend and pastor, Kevin Jack. Thank you for taking time out of your day to become a better leader. If you're new to the podcast, we release a new episode every Wednesday. We'd love for you to subscribe on whatever podcast platform that you're listening from today, so you get those automatically downloaded every Wednesday morning as the new ones come out. And also share this with a friend on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. And please rate and review on Apple Podcasts. You won't believe how that few extra minutes will help us get this podcast in the hands of so many more leaders just like you. Visit leadinghope.online to get updates and find out more about the Leading Hope community. Kevin, today you will be discussing a new topic as we have a standalone today, and the exciting part about this is it's episode 131.
131.
And you've titled it, A Better Guide to Goal Setting.
So today,
we've done goal settings before, and this is a better guide.
Yeah, but this is different, whole different type of goal setting.
This is exciting.
So what I want to do today, sorry.
You're good. We've got a new one right now.
I want to switch the most common acronym that people use, the guide that they use for goal setting, from SMART goals to SOME goals. Is SOME goals? Yeah, SOME goals. SOME goals. And so let's talk through these two pieces. Hopefully this is one of those episodes. It's not deep. This is not super theological. This is just a practical thing you can use that I think is really helpful. So SMART goals, S-M-A-R-T as an acronym, is kind of just like a standard, people. It is what they typically think of when they think of goal setting. And the SMART stands for this, that it needs to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So specific, you know exactly what you're seeking to achieve. Measurable, you have some label, something that you can do that says, hey, this is when we've hit the target. Achievable, meaning it's actually, you can achieve it. It's realistic on that piece that, hey, we can actually go through it, and then it's time-bound. So SMART goals is the typical acronym that's used. And there's a lot of benefits to that. It makes goals really clear. It gathers all the key pieces. The time-bound is one of the most important ones. That it's not just by some point we will do this, but there's like a date, a stamp, a mark that you know. And it gives the sense that you know exactly when you've hit that goal. But it leads me to this, there's some other problems with this that I've just found that it's not inefficient, but it's not equipped to handle some pieces that I want in goal setting. One of those is it's just not exciting. You go, let's make sure it's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Woo! Come on. It's got the pieces that's helpful in goal setting, but it's just not exciting. And then the other side of this is you can have all the pieces in place, but still miss the point of what you're actually wanting to do. And the tendency is that without a proper culture that pushes people, without a proper culture that helps them to stretch and to imagine more than what they're currently doing and a greater impact than they currently have, then SMART goals become simply a way of just kind of, kicking the ball back and forth laterally. It doesn't actually move anything down the field. It doesn't actually make the progress that you're seeking to make. And so what we discussed a long time ago was going through how can we create a new acronym that is helpful, that puts the values of the culture that we want within the goal setting framework itself. So when I think of what I want out of goal setting, I want to be clear, we're big on goal setting.
Yes.
Frequently, that's how we think naturally. We want to achieve, and many of these things are part of the SMART goal acronym. We want to achieve this by this time. This is how we're going to measure it. This is how we're going to go through it.
Yep.
But it is a way of pushing us forward. It is a way of moving us beyond current capacity, because when you have that goal in place, you all of a sudden realize I can do more than I'm currently doing that I never would have been able to do had I not put that goal in place. And so I want those pieces of the cultural value of goal setting, of what they can harness in terms of human potential, to be a part of the goal setting framework itself. And so instead of using SMART goals, we use some goals. SOME is the acronym that we use. And I just want to walk through that with you today. And hopefully, if this is helpful, it's something easy that you could adopt. Now, some goals, here's the acronym. They are stretch, outcome-based, measurable, and exciting. So let's walk through those pieces. First one, stretch. I want this goal to be ambitious. I want this goal that you're setting to be a little bit difficult. I would much rather you barely fall short of an extremely difficult goal than you nail an easy goal. And I just think that's where sometimes it gets lost is my dad worked for GE, and when they made the shift from Jack Welch to Jeff Immel, one of the big things that happened with the CEO change is we're going to hit every goal. That became every goal that we set, we're going to hit. Well, what happened to the goals? They went from big lofty goals up here to all the way down here.
Yeah.
And they hit the goals, but they weren't ahead.
No.
And like that is like really important to be aware of, to go, the goal is not to hit the goal. The goal is to move forward, which I know may sound crazy, but like we set the goal as a way of driving forward progress, not so that we can just go, did that. And so I want stretch goals. I want things that push me. I want things that push you, that make you imagine beyond your current capacity. And so that's the S. S is stretch goals.
Stretch.
I
like it.
The O is outcome-based. Outcome-based. And this is where I think goal setting today gets so far off. I don't want to know what you're going to do. I want to know what it's going to do. If you do the thing that you said you're going to do, but it doesn't create the outcome that you desired, then what you did was worthless. This is the thing when people are like new to goal setting, or I would say if they're experienced at goal setting, but they just have terrible habits.
Yeah.
That is so far off, or is the hardest to ingrain.
Yep.
So it's like, say like this, church ministry wise, we are going to hold a training with our key leaders. What do you want to come out of that?
Yep.
I don't know. What's the purpose of the training if you don't know what's going to come out of it?
Yep.
Tell me what's going to come out of it, and then you'll know whether what you're doing is actually working or not. And if we don't define goals in terms of outcome-based, what we'll find ourselves doing is we're doing activities that don't really make an impact.
Yeah, just task lists.
Yeah, did that. Well, what did it do? Because if it didn't do what it was meant to do, you need to adapt your approach in the moment and try something different. Yeah. If there's one piece of this that's really important, it's the outcome based. Tell me how the future is going to be different. So like when you're thinking through goal settings is, man, if I could say like my world a little bit, like church series preaching on the weekend, it'd be like, we are going to do a series on the work of the Holy Spirit. Did it. Congratulations. That's not hard. We're going to raise the spiritual attentiveness of our church and the clarity on the role of the Holy Spirit in everyone's life through this series. Now, I've got some other pieces in there, but I just want you to see at the very beginning, I am thinking outcome-based. I am thinking, how is this activity, this behavior, this action going to change the future? And then I'm telling you in the same statement how I'm going to do it. So, do you want to?
Yeah, there's hours of stuff that we could spend on that specifically.
I just want you to yell outcome based right now.
Okay, there we go. Sorry.
Are you going to yell it?
Yeah, outcome based.
Thank you. Third one is measurable, and then we can come back to outcome based.
You're good.
Measurable. So here's the key part of the SMART goals where it comes in: is you need specific and you need time based. Those need to be a part of this. Okay, I also really want to know, not just feel, but as much as you can tell. So, like, if I would say, like, the thing on the series, we're going to change the spiritual temperature of the church, the awareness of the Holy Spirit, and work in our lives through this series, and monitor it by the number of stories that we hear based upon this.
Yeah.
So it doesn't all have to be a data point. Like, it don't know how to be 7. It's going to be 10. But to say, like, show me what, not just like qualitative, but like what actual tangible thing we are looking for, not just, and it'll be better or it'll be different. So it is actually measurable. So it is time bound. It's like you've got something clear that you're looking towards. And then the last one,
measurable.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we've gone through the S.
Yep.
Stretch.
The O.
Outcome based.
The M.
Measurable.
Now we need the E.
Is exciting.
Yes, that's what we're about.
This is the best one.
It's the whole podcast right here.
So here's the I can't tell you how many times I have sat down with team members and said, "Show me your goals," and I've read through their goals, and I'm just looking at me like, "Do you care about any of these things?"
Oh.
No. Oh. Well, let's get rid of them.
You're a lot nicer than I am. I go, did you even read these?
No, I don't quite go to that level.
I'm joking.
But I do want to know this. I want to go like, are you excited about this? Because if you're not excited about it, and I believe that we can choose to be excited about anything. I really do. And you may not be excited about what you're doing, but you can be excited about what it does and what comes from it. But
that's good.
This has to be within it. Like if you're setting goals that are stretch, you better care. You better be emotionally attached to it in some way. And this is where my failure, we did the episode a while ago on the coach, consultant, counselor, manager.
Oh,
that
okay.
piece.
Yeah.
This is probably where I'm a better coach than a better manager. Is if someone gives me their goal, if somebody gives me like 4 goals and I go, you don't care about any of them, do you? No. And they all really matter to the organization. I'll say, all right, let me pick the one that matters most to all of us. You throw out the other 3 and come back with 3 things you care about.
Yeah.
I would just and this is maybe my failure. I would rather they do the thing that they care about deeply if I can align it with our overall desire and overall hope.
Right.
But I would rather, like, if they don't care about it, I know very little is going to come of that. And that has to be a part of the goal setting itself.
Yes.
And so we look at these two comparatively, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound, and say, I really feel like that's like really inferior.
Yeah.
To, we need stretch, outcome-based, measurable, and exciting. This is what we're looking for in goals.
So good. So good. The exciting piece is such a undervalued part of goal setting.
Yes.
Man, if to most organizations, depending on how you do it, some do it bi-yearly, some do them just at the end of the year for the whole next year, some do them quarterly, but everyone in corporate, well, I shouldn't say everyone, that's too much, but a lot of people, it is a tedious, no one cares, no effort's put into it, and it's the opposite of exciting.
Well, let me say it like this. Everybody functionally does goal setting, whether it's written down or paper or not.
Yeah.
Like everybody in their head who moves forward does goal setting.
Yeah, but just in an actual literal sense of actually writing them down. And man, for years, and I wasn't good at helping people write their goals for a long time until I figured this part out, which really was, and we said it very, very specifically, and it's so important that everyone gets the outcome-based is really the most important. Exciting is really important too. But if you the cool thing about outcome-based goals is that if you can get to the point of which you can see yourself as part of the outcome and being part of something bigger than yourself because of the outcome, then it's exciting.
Yes.
It's super exciting. And if you can have that going into the actual writing of the goal, because most people, like you said, and we could spend a ton of time. I remember guys writing goals, developers writing goals, and they would be like, all right, the goal for this next season is to write this script for my own task thing that helps me.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, what's that going to actually do for anybody else? Nothing. How's it going to make you better? It doesn't. It just takes some more time to do stuff. I said, do you gain any time because of this? Does it multiply your time? No, it actually costs me more time. What is it going?
Why are we doing this?
Yeah, well, I mean, you might have learned something, but this wouldn't be a. So there's a difference between the personal goal and the company goal, like the organization goal. Does it align everything to get us all together to go somewhere? And so that was just one of those funny parts is like, they have to be outcome based. And once they are, because people go in thinking it's just a list of tasks that I'm going to do.
Well, we get like, if we could jump like way into that, we say, so what happens if your goals aren't outcome based? Instead of having like 3, like let's say in a quarter, or a year, it'd be a little bit larger. I typically do quarterly goals because I can't imagine everything that's going to happen over the next year.
Right.
I have no way of imagining that.
It's audacious.
Yeah. Well, it's too much for me to actually picture what I need to get done. It's just like if I have 3 clear outcome-based goals for the quarter,
Yep.
I can pretty much know. If I don't think in terms of outcome-based, I hide behind 20 different task-based goals.
Yeah.
And that's what the tendency is like. What are your goals? It's incredible. They came to me and they have 15 goals. Yeah, most of them could be done by Tuesday
Yes.
because it's just a task.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. You don't
Yeah.
actually have to change anything.
That's exactly right. And then you talked about the stretch. I think that's so important because goals, and you've talked about this before, and maybe you need to elaborate, and now that we're back talking about it again, is that you shouldn't hit all your goals.
Yeah.
You shouldn't hit all your goals. You also should hit some of your goals.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, you should not always not be stretched so far that you never make a goal, because then you've set it too far that you need to have something tangible that you can accomplish.
Yep.
And so talk about that because I don't know if that you alluded to that part of it, and you've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Why that's important.
But let me give the one caveat within this is who your boss is matters.
Yeah.
And so that's just to be clear. So to say, like, if you have a boss that is going to ream you out for not hitting every goal, then, I mean, you're smart. You're not going to set huge stretch goals.
Right.
Set huge stretch goals on your own piece of paper, not on the one that you turn in.
Yeah.
Because you should have something that pushes you. Because at your best, your goals should push you to a level of performance in leadership that is currently not comprehensible to you.
Yeah.
And so when you write it down, it drives. So it's just like one of those things. You go like the famous story of everybody thought it was impossible to break a 4-minute mile until Roger Bannister did it, and there's like 6 more people did it that year.
Yep.
Like, it's just crazy. 3 people did it in one race later that year because now they understood what was possible.
Right.
So when you write down your goals, there should be a part of you that's going, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah.
I really don't know how I'm going to accomplish that. But because I wrote it down, I'm now far more likely to figure it out than I ever was before. And the goal is growth, like not just company organization, like growth. And you're never going to do that if you're not stretching yourself to the level that you can.
That's good. And then the measurable piece, which is so important. And we get into some of these conversations with different departments, different people that they think it's, the saying is not everything is measurable. And then you get to the qualitative, all that stuff, right? But we know everything is measurable, not maybe by a number, but by a story.
Yeah.
Right? How many stories do you hear from what this action, this goal did, right? It may not be a number. I didn't increase my profit margin by 25% number, but there's more stories or more things that we can hold on to that knows that the goal.
So let me give you a real easy one, if this is helpful for you. So, like, if you lead volunteers, which if you're in church work, you do all the time. I remember one of our team, they put as their goal that they would more fully empower their team leads to live out their work. As I say, okay, how are you measuring that? You can't. No, you can.
Yeah.
What's your biggest problem with those who are under those team leads? Late cancellations. By dramatically reducing the number of cancellation calls that go to you.
Yes.
Because they now go to your team leads.
Yeah.
And so set a number as to what you have typically now, and then say, I want 50% of that.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you now have a quantifiable way of measuring empowerment.
Right.
Which it can't measure it. You can't.
There's always a way.
Yeah,
There's always something
always.
that can be measured. And then the last one, and we're done here for this episode, is that it has to be exciting. I can't stress this anymore. You had that too. There is nothing better than working with someone, a leader or a team, that's excited about writing down goals that you both are excited together about. Whatever your team is doing together, whoever you're leading forward, that is got to be it's got to happen.
Yeah, we would say it like this. If you have 3 goals, you better be excited about one of them.
Yeah.
I want you to be excited about all 3, but you better be excited about one of them.
That's it, man. Wrap it up for us. A better guide to goal setting.
That's it. Switch your acronym. Not smart, some. Stretch, outcome-based, measurable, and exciting.
That's fun. Thank you guys for joining us today and being with us. If you're new to the podcast or haven't yet subscribed, it would mean the world to us if you did that now. Also, post about it, rate and review. You won't believe how that helps get this podcast in the hands of so many more leaders like you who are excited to be here. We love hearing your stories of how the podcast is working in your life or business. If you have a story, please visit leadinghope.online and send that to us. We would love to hear from you. And remember, everyone has 20 minutes to learn to become a better leader. Make it count.